Okay.
Recapping the weekend box office with all the latest news, movies, and the magic. We bring it all to you on the Willis Grittier channel every Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, whichever day Charles deems to be okay. With Charles, Lindsay, and Gray, we set the scene on Willis Grittier channel where the silver screen gleams. Ring the bell to help you stay tuned and to find out which day Charles will choose. Where subtext is clear, no anger within. Tune in to Showbiz on Willis Grittier's channel for the win.
For the win. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Happy Sunday, the 27th. Yes, I've got a date thingy here on my computer because I'm a fancy boy. Welcome to Show Business. I am Lindsay of My Two Cents and All Nonsense, as always. And we've got a Charles, right? Say hi, buddy.
Yeah, I feel better now, Lindsay. Now that you're with that backdrop, everything feels a bit more comfortable for me.
There's no random creatures running around behind me.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Patrons of my channel know that there's something special that I'm basically done with for Thursday. So,
Wow.
Joining us for the near future is Rosales Comics, directly below me. Another, should I say nerd, Rosales? Because I feel like you follow a lot of the mathy stuff, and I kind of...
you can go ahead and do that.
Okay.
I don't mind being a nerd. I tried to raise my children as nerds to keep them off the streets.
Right.
So, I intended for them to be Star Trek nerds specifically, but that didn't stick. So, but they are all into the, what do you call that game?
Meth? Oh.
Roblox. No.
Roblox. Yeah.
Roblox.
Roblox, meth, same thing.
Same deal.
By the way, I gotta say, I love the Thundercat sword behind you. I just noticed that now. That's sick, dude.
Oh, wow.
Go.
No.
Oh, no, you're muted. We can't hear you.
This old thing?
Oh, yeah, dude, that's beautiful right there. Like 12-year-old me would have gone nuts for that.
Adult me still is kind of fired up.
Yeah. My wife bought it for me. She we were at a mall that we don't normally go to because nobody goes to malls anymore. And there was this one swordsmith shop that had all of these different types of things out there, giant axes and things like that. All these kinds of things that you can just buy in Texas right off the shelf.
That's sick.
And,
Texas has its advantages. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty sick.
She told me to pick one. And I said, what about this one? She said, okay, go ahead.
Oh,
That's
dude,
awesome.
She's a keeper. I love that.
Absolutely.
That's love right there.
Absolutely. Like, I used to tell people that God puts people in your vicinity, in your life, for two reasons. One is to teach you. One is to teach you something or bless you. No, that's it. One is to bless you, and one is to teach you something.
Cool.
So
I dig it.
she is definitely a blessing in my life, and I thank the Lord every day, and I pray that she never learns her lesson.
You know who's a blessing in my life, though? Mr. Gray.
Duh. Hey, I'm Gray.
You're not forgotten, my friend. I just wanted you to feel some love. That's all.
Well, thank you. It's awesome to be here, but I don't have anything as cool as the Thundercat sword. I got a barbell I could grab, but that's about it.
That's
you're literally flexing on us. Okay, I see how it is.
Literally flexing.
Well, not yet.
You may be a blessing to Lindsay, but I'd like to learn from you. So, multiple purposes.
Oh, Charles being the sweet talker today. Okay.
So, to the weekend that was.
Hint taken. Boom.
Nope.
Oh, no, wrong thing.
Nope.
Bam. There it is. I'm good at this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think we all saw this coming. maybe not this number specifically, but Venom: The Last Dance coming in first place. Smile 2 holding on with a very good 9.4. That's underselling it. Holding on is not the right word. But Conclave, a kind of crazy movie, coming in with 6.5 million. Wild Robot, also 6.5 million. That movie's never going to die. And We Live in Time with 4.8. I think that's the Andrew Garfield one, right? Him and Florence Pugh. I need to see that. I love both of them.
It went up from last week.
That's nuts. That never happens. I mean, like, honestly, like, we'll look at these in a second, but that happened with like Black Panther. Has that happened since? Because it's kind of a big deal when it happens. I mean, maybe
Isn't
like
that the
some
one
small
where they did a
movies?
super small opening with it?
Yeah.
Like it was so.
Oh,
Maybe it was just the fact that the theaters were maxing out. They figured
Yeah,
they could
they
get a little
I
bit
think
more.
they were on more screens. They were on like 50, and then it was like 500. I think they're on like 1,200 now. So yes, but usually
no.
it's not that, especially in the top 5 at least. Usually it doesn't look like that, but
That's very true.
that's a fair comparison, Gray.
But hey, if you ever need a reason to go see a movie, it went up in its second week. You know. But how'd we do in the game last week? It looks like
Gray was right, but he
There's a
was
couple of
wrong.
winners. Spiritually, I think I'm a winner as well, because what I wanted was it to not quite get 70, but you know, I've been wrong on everything. So if I chose the over, it would obviously do under. So I feel good about this. But yeah, you guys were spot on.
Woo!
So the fascinating thing is, I'm wondering if we did 60, if we would all be in the same area, because as of Friday, if I were to get our temperature on this, as of Friday, it had $22 million, and right now it's at 51, which that's a bad 3-day when your first day is 22.
Yeah, so it called 29 over the next 2 days. So that's like what, like the best case scenario, like
13
15
and a half,
and
15,
14?
yeah.
Ugh.
Aren't the predictions based off of like pre-sales and stuff? So are people like canceling off word of mouth, or do they just expect more foot traffic? Or
I think they always inflate them just to kind of make them look better. You know, I remember reading a lot of reports about Warner Brothers trying to fluff Joker's numbers up to 40 before the reality sunk in that it was 37.
We had 40, and then after the estimates were done, it was 37. It seems like
37.
whatever direction it's going in from Friday, it tends to trend that way. Like Joker just kept going down. I wouldn't be surprised if Venom is lower than 50, because 22 on Friday, it seems like the people that wanted to see it saw it on Friday, and they're.
Oh, and I guess we should say this. These are estimates. Oh, it is there on the thing. Okay, well done, Charles. You're good at this. These numbers could always shift. It's highly doubtful it's going to shift like what, 42 million in the other direction.
Well, yeah, it's definitely in first. The thing is, third.
Oh, sorry.
Wild Robot may actually continue to be in third, and Terrifier 3 is in sixth, but it's close enough that it may take fifth. So there's some scandal there.
Do we have a number for Terrifier, or should I try and grab that?
4.6.
4.6. That's yeah. Wow, that could. Man, that make me so happy. Like, I good for We Live in Time. Like, honestly, good for it. But if Terrifier gets back up into fifth place again,
they crossed $50 million worldwide. It's a non-rated film.
It's not rated.
Not rated. Because
I guess I just assumed it was R. That's hilarious.
Then, why don't we just do that? Who needs the MPAA?
Studios coming in hot over here.
I'm just saying.
I mean, who needs SAG at that case, right? Right, Lindsay?
Well,
who needs the PGA? Who needs the DGA? Yeah, it's do as I say, not as I do over in Hollyweird. But
fair enough.
Yeah, everybody. I guess it needs to. I guess they're not trying for any awards. I'm trying to think why you need the MPA.
Yeah, I hear of horror stories where they just don't tell you exactly what it is, but just tell you to kind of make another cut, just take another pass at it. And I don't know. I just think we could do better.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just like, what movie was it where they talked about in the 50s where there's too much cleavage, and the guy like wanted a definition of like how. Like in the 50s, it wasn't really that much. It was just, there's too much shadow on her breast. I mean, shadow? What are you talking about? How do you measure that?
Disagree.
Like, you could show one nipple, but if you show a second nipple, it's an R rating. But then Titanic, you see both, and it manages to be PG-13. Usually, if you drop 2 F-bombs, you're PG-13. You're an R. One, you can still be PG-13. But then Finding Forrester has, I think, 3 F-bombs in it, and that's still a PG-13. Like it's a weird system.
You can have dry humping, but depending on how many times you thrust, it will be
no.
Yes.
Well,
no, you're
you
an actor. You know that.
Oh, that's silly.
Lindsay, you know.
What I understand.
Have you not been in a sex scene yet?
I've made out with ladies on the camera. I have not had to do the simulated sex though yet.
No thrusting, huh? So you're PG as far as it.
You haven't spoken with the intimacy coordinators.
No, but a student film that I did, the teacher gave the note of that she wanted a simulated, like she's grabbing me through my pants. Like, oh my god, but teacher, what kind of movie are you trying to get us to make here?
Your teacher said that?
Oh, not my teacher. It was a friend of mine's. That was an interesting.
Sure,
one.
The teacher said that. Sure,
Nope.
Sure.
We didn't end up shooting it. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're.
From what I understand, they might give the.
No, we're not. What was that?
They might give the big studios kind of the like that's too many thrusts or whatever, but they kind of don't do that for the little guy, which makes it seem like a weird system to me that doesn't seem like it's even across the board. So I don't know. I'd say do more of this not rated stuff. Like, does horror need to go through there? They're just going to give you an R or NC-17 anyway.
Well, it's all a boys' club, and NATO, the National Association of Theater Owners, there is no baseline with the MPAA. It is literally throwing darts at a dartboard blindfolded at what the rating they give movies. Yes, that 100%. Is. But if you're some of the big studios, they tend to lean over and be like, you might want to cut at 34 minutes, 14 seconds. Because, Warner, Disney, Universal, they're probably a bit more transparent with them than they would be with the folks at Dread Central, otherwise known as one of the producers of Terrifier. And it's just, I don't know. It seems like all of these favors that are being done for the sake of, I don't know. What was Lindsay, the law that expired in 23 about the monopolies with theaters?
Oh, well, which part are you looking up specifically? Because what happened was there was it was looked down upon. I don't think it was
to own
illegal, but like Disney couldn't have a chain of movie theaters that only showed Disney theaters, but then they didn't renew the law or something like that. I did a video on it. I should refresh myself a little bit, because going from 2022 forward, there was going to be like a 2-year cooling off period. And then once that cooling off period was over with, then the studios, without anything in the way, could just start owning theaters.
Yeah. So in connection to that, because Sony now has
they bought the Alamo Draft House.
Right.
Right. They went under just not too long ago when Ryan Reynolds had a little movie out this year, I think. And
a little self-funded project.
He had a little thing, him and his family and friends, they got together and made this thing. And that's right before it came out, the Alamo Draft House filed for bankruptcy, and they started shutting down all of their theaters, and then Sony swooped in and saved the Draft House. And I think really they needed someplace where they could show Kraven the Hunter.
Right.
Oh, 100%.
And so to things like that, when studios have a piece of actual houses, like Sony can circumvent the whole MPA, not that they would, because Sony, Columbia, they're going to want as many screens as possible. But if they wanted to do some sort of indie thing where they only played it in the Alamo Draft House, they can do that now and be like, yeah, we don't care if you rate this, although they won't be able to submit for Oscars and things like that. So I think with some of the centuries old laws being kind of bent and eroded, maybe a lot of things are going to change, and maybe not for the better. but I do feel like independent. Like if you're gonna gamble, you should be paid off. Right on that this silly little gore fest is at $50 million. Meanwhile, Joker's at 56.
A quick question, because a random
Domestic.
thought that I had. Terrifier. So
Mhm.
it's not rated, and it's very Terrifier and very bloody and very gory.
hmm
I can't remember. Was there nudity? Is
There's a shower scene, and I don't think.
oh, there
nudity
is.
Yes,
There was a very brief. You're right.
there is
Yeah.
nudity that you don't.
There's
You know,
nudity.
you don't see very. Yeah. You see sausage bits getting all.
Now that I'm
That is
thinking,
fair play.
Yeah.
yeah, true. I was just wondering. Sorry, just thought experiment out loud here. Like, oh, is that how they able to get like a theatrical release? Like, yeah, we're hyper violent, but no sex scenes. But no, there were sex scenes. So never mind. I got nothing. Okay, sorry, just wasting everyone's time.
Well, I don't think there was just nudity in the shower prior
Yeah.
to someone being dismembered.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say that dismembering was plot important because it's a character kind of character.
Sure.
I find that interesting about the first and the second Terrifier is that in the second one there was definitely a shower scene in there, but nothing too risque. But in the first Terrifier movie, there was a disassembly that was very au naturel, if you will. And let's see, what are we? 16 minutes? Yeah.
The clit to tit cut. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, that's what I was talking about there.
I got you.
It wasn't anything that you could enjoy, and if you did enjoy it, get some help. Okay, get some help.
You have other priorities in your life if you enjoyed that.
Well, if you
It wasn't
did
meant
enjoy
to be.
it, you might enjoy part of 3.
That's true.
So yeah, I that's the juxtaposition of where they used to be back in the gore fest back in the 80s and 90s, where the lead in was a total titillation into the Jason coming into the back and getting them both.
Oh, and also, I this is just a friend of mine that loved Barbarella in middle school. That movie was PG when it came out, and that is the idea of that movie being PG by our standards today.
Well,
is
they only had PG and R back then.
They did, yeah.
They're remaking that too with
Oh my
Sydney
God.
Sweeney.
Oh, boy.
Wait, really?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
You have my full attention.
All right, I'm willing to hear you out.
Yeah. From what I hear, they've got 2 good reasons.
At least.
At least. Oh,
Beat you to it, I win. Haha. But so, yeah, there used to be this taboo about not being able to. You needed to get at least an R, and I think things are different. I mean, I think it's better if you're suggestive. If you can get away with not having to get a no rating, if you can achieve suggesting without showing that, I mean, that's powerful. But to not have that barrier is nice, because if studios are just going to keep doing cape shit and franchise remake, sequel, all right, we're going to make a sequel, but we're going to do something that people aren't tired of just yet.
Do you guys know what the first movie to get PG-13 was, by the way?
Isn't that? Oh, it's a Spielberg movie, isn't it?
No, it's really the actual answer. That's very funny. Red Dawn.
Was that was the first one to get a PG-13? Or
yeah,
PG?
the first PG-13 was Red Dawn. Spielberg.
it's a classic, man.
Oh, I'm not commenting on the movie at all. Just
No, I'm just commenting on Charles's disgust.
oh, I see.
Revolutionary. What is that? That's a Jimmy.
That's
Amazing. Tamale.
Chimichanga.
Looks so
Deadpool
good.
will be disappointed in you, sir.
Yeah, I'm racist. I don't know what to tell you.
They are ready. Yes, I wasn't lying about. I was not lying about making tamales. I made my son go in there, and tradition is one of those things you wish you paid attention to as a child. So I had to force my kids to partake in making the tamales.
I respect it.
That one day, in the distant future, hopefully, we'll be in a Mexican restaurant and be like, "My dad used to make these."
Um, Highlight Adams' comment wasn't
Ooh,
the Temple of Doom partial to the MPAA? That's where I was thinking. I think
ooh, that
wasn't
is
it
a
the
good.
melting head scene? Am I mixing up my Indiana Joneses?
Um,
I don't think that one had melting. That was the first one. It had Kali Ma and the
The heart.
the fun times.
the beating heart. Yes, that was the point of contention, and the person burning alive. They covered him. They went back and they covered him with a lot of flames, so that you couldn't really see what was going on,
Oh.
which made
Also,
it better.
ooh. So apparently, it was Gremlins and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom that made
Haha.
people go,
Oh,
"Oh, maybe we need another thing." And then Red Dawn was the first one to get it.
okay. So Steven Spielberg was
Oh,
associated somehow.
Yes, he
He
was
was the,
definitely involved.
he was the 6 degrees of
I could
Kevin
see
Bacon
that.
to it.
I can see how Gremlins led to that. There's a lot of violence towards non-human entities in that. I don't know. It makes sense to me. There's some gore, just not human blood.
Yeah, but also it's the greatest scene in cinema history. Hi ho,
Oh yeah.
hi ho, we're off. Oh, come on, Charles. You
I
know what I'm
thought you
doing.
meant the amazing monologue about Christmas that always
I
gets me
mean,
in the mood for
that is
some
one of the
Yuletide
best.
cheer.
Yeah, 100%. That's an incredible monologue. And
So funny.
Indeed.
So half of us have not seen the big winner of the weekend.
But half of us have. Let's look at it. It's half full.
Yeah.
You guys have.
So
How
Venom,
did you enjoy?
The Last Dance. Lindsay, before I just absolutely shit on it, how did you feel about Venom?
I bounced off that movie in the first 9 seconds and I never came back in. The movie opens, spoilers. There's a dude with emo hair sitting on what looks like a heavy metal throne and some kind of
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
no, I was on board with all that. Like so far, I'm like, okay, who's this dude? Who are these spooky bugs
It's the
going
guy from
around everywhere?
Castlevania.
I guess, but then he starts monologuing.
Belmont?
I am the night. I am evil. I will eat and evil everything. And I'm just like, okay, I'm out. And it's not a good movie. The first like 10-15 minutes of it feel like a fever dream because there's that scene with the evil metal rock dude of evilness, and then there's Venom in a bar, and apparently he's in the MCU because he's talking to the bartender about Thanos without saying the word Thanos.
He doesn't say Thanos. He says the purple guy, the purple alien in space. It's just like, so are you a part of this or not? Because why are
you guys
doing
are familiar with that bar scene, right? Like that is how he's tied to the MCU. It was done in like post-credit scenes. Now I'm forgetting which one that was, but
Spider-Man No Way
they had
Home.
to. That's it.
And then
they had to
Venom 2, and then here. Sorry,
undo what they did.
Undo what they did.
That's exactly what they did. Is they basically separated the Venom universe from the Spider-Man universe by undoing everything. I mean, all of the promises of Venom crossing over and Eddie Brock, this version of Eddie Brock going over, are completely undone, according to spoilers that somebody shocked me with.
No,
because I haven't seen
wrong. No, but I mean, go ahead.
They really do undo what was going on in the Spider-Man No Way Home, and kind of sealed the door on that, and then he goes to bartending,
Yeah,
I want to drink, Eddie.
And then to make it like even weirder, the way that they get him out of that bartending scene is he gets sucked through the same kind of portal that the evil Metal King guy is sending his minions through. So it's like, okay, did he get out of the MCU because of the evil Metal King guy, or is it just a coincidence? And if he was pulled out because of the evil Metal King guy, why isn't he immediately grabbed by him? It just makes no sense. And then it immediately clicks in your head when they shot this movie. 2023. This is a writer's strike movie. This is like 5 or 6 different ideas just slapped together and then duct taped without any kind of editing or a second draft or anything. And it feels like it. It gets kind of cool in the last 15 minutes, but until then, it is horrible. There's no lobster tank scene. It is irredeemable.
No lobster scene. 0
no
stars.
Zero.
Did you kind of see the portal thing or whatever the same way, Charles? So from what I've been hearing is the spoiler criticism is it's just a way that they're undoing like the connection that they did. They realized they could never actually pay that off, so they got to hit undo.
Well,
Does it
didn't
feel as unconnected as Lindsay explained?
Well,
Thank you, Adam. Love you, buddy.
dude, like I'm checked out going in, first of all.
Yeah.
But I was confused that they mentioned Thanos without saying Thanos. It was almost like, how close can we get without breaking copyright? But it's like, you're in the Marvel universe. What are you doing? Just say it. And then the portals thing, I thought it was the same thing from like the Avengers, Doctor Strange, Jimmy Jambarinos, and I was like, oh, okay, so they're
The sling rings?
sure the golden circle.
That's what it's called, the sling ring that when they use it. Yeah.
Yeah, nerd. Because Deadpool Wolverine had it this year, so I just thought like, okay, this is the Marvel.
Cassandra had a sling ring. She found it in the void.
Is that not
Charles is outing himself as not a real movie fan, guys.
I mean, this isn't like America Chavez, who could do the interdimensional star portals. Those are kind of fun looking, but
those are
different.
What is happening?
It's kind of fun. You got the sling ring with the the sparkles going everywhere, the sparkle circles, sparkly, and then you got America Chavez with the big old star portals. Everything's shaped like a star.
Oh, that's from Ant-Man, right? Quantum Mania.
Not quite.
I think it's Multiverse of Madness was the
Doctor Strange.
yeah, the second one of that.
And they got
But she'll
these
be back.
inverted
Young Avengers is
spider
gonna happen.
portals, that happened in Venom. I saw most of it. And so that's what brought him back. And I think that's an inconsistency that can be ignored simply because this is the last of its kind. If they move forward with any kind of Venom thing, it's going to be like a Venom spawned off team up with brightly colored symbiotes and a lady named Christmas.
Yeah. So forgive me for trying to give credit to the folks over at Sony, but if you're working with Marvel and you're doing this crisscross thing, why not try to make a movie where you can like make money and stretch it?
Well, they're making money off of Spider-Man.
Yeah, so like, yeah, this is essentially a licensing carryover. That's all this movie is. It's the good old Warner Brothers tax cut. But like, why not try? Like,
Well, they did try, and they lost a lot of money.
skill
Essentially, what happened was, back in the 90s, there was this whole big speculation boom of comic books, and investors were buying comic books as opposed to comic book fans, which pumped up the market. And then comic book companies started doing all kinds of wonderfully silly things to create essentially Beanie Baby comic books. Holographic covers, variant covers, gold-plated covers. And these investors were coming in and buying these things, and no comic books were being actually read. So the numbers were inflated, and this was going on. And all of a sudden, somebody decided that they were going to cash in on their investment and put their kid through college, and found out that there was really nobody else to buy those things except for other investors. And then the whole thing came crashing down.
It's not about the art.
Meanwhile, Marvel's, is leveraged up to its eyeballs with its variant covers and is just kind of outstretched. And they wind up filing for bankruptcy and having to sell off all of these titles and things like that, and movie rights. And in comes Sony, comes in to pick that up. What, at about
02, the Spider-Mans is the Spider-Mans.
1999, they came in and they acquired the rights for $7 million. So basically, they covered Marvel's legal fees, is what they did in the bankruptcy. They didn't give them much for it, and somebody else got the Hulk and whatnot. But as far as Sony was concerned, they got the big guy, and they started working on maybe putting together a couple of movies, And so they make the 3 Spider-Man movies and try to do their best and interfere as best they can, and wind up putting the kibosh on Sam Raimi's number 4. And then they revamp the whole thing one more time, to to get going on their Spider-Verse. Meanwhile, um, the MCU is starting up and starting to do their own thing on their own. They're taking a chance with Iron Man and starting to build their thing all together. So Sony sees an opportunity to stop wasting money on keeping Spider-Man by blowing it on big budget spectaculars. And they make a deal in 2015 to lease back a property that is owned by Marvel in every other market other than cinema. And so they retain the rights because Marvel is paying them to do the movies. And so all they have to do now is make something that's not going to break their bank and bring in enough to augment what Spider-Man is bringing in.
Yeah, so like that's what wait, no. So
It's like a reverse
You
mortgage.
explained Craven.
why would they re-release Morbius if they're just using those as like bumpers to get them to
Because they're
Spider-Man?
desperately
People just
trying
didn't
to get.
understand it in their own time.
Well,
It's kind of like going home with the girl at the bar. You question your moves afterwards, and you make decisions based on something you thought was going to be good.
But that choice tells me they thought, okay, this is a thing in the zeitgeist right now. Put it back in theaters. We don't know shit about shit, but people are talking about it. So they tried to make money there.
Well, yeah,
I would
obviously that there was a time, and it's still there, by the way. Sadly, there was a time when production companies, Hollywood, thought that maybe they can cash in on some of these viral things that are going on the interwebs, and maybe use some of these things going on. So it picks up. It's gone viral. Everybody thinks that they're clamoring for something, that the Snyders are making their moves, and these other things are happening. And Warner's about to cave in and give them their thing. So yeah, let's try to make the money. See where this actually is. And of course, it works out horribly. So they are now discovering that the Twitterverse is not a real place, and nobody lives there or has money, and that you can't really go by what is trending as to what's popular.
Do you know for sure it wasn't Morbin time? I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I really don't dispute what you're saying, but
Well, you can, because it could be wrong. I
Okay.
could be dead wrong.
Fair
Absolutely.
enough. But go ahead, Gray.
no. Please, I feel like yours was related. I was going to tangentially try and go back, but sorry.
If you got a little joke in there, just get it out quickly.
Wasn't a joke. Sorry, my bad.
One more time.
I think the thing we need to remember here is for someone at Sony got it in their head a decade ago that if a superhero team up movie with just a bunch of heroes from a bunch of different movies can work together and make a lot of money, why can't a team up movie of a whole bunch of villains work together? So
in theory, it should work.
Well, but whether or not
you got to do the work though. Like, yeah, but you can't just copy the person next to you's homework and not understand why that those answers are like that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say here. It hasn't been working, and audiences and ticket sales have been trying to tell them for a decade outside of the Venom movies, there's nothing here. This is a bad idea, but they won't let it go.
But
because
this weekend, 51 million, even though it's a disappointment, 51 million they're going to stupidly, people do want to see this.
Right.
Because you sure they didn't get it right with Craven, though? Maybe that one will get it right.
Well, they're mixing up people liking this interpretation of Venom with people liking this idea of the super villain team up, and we're still seeing the seeds of this attempted superhero team up villain in these movies. In this movie, we're seeing it in teased in Craven. That's not even out yet. In this movie, they kept saying the 6, ready the 6, roll out the 6. The 6 are here. The 6 are ready to go. That's a very specific number.
Sinister
for
6?
They never said the word sinister, but again, remember 6? That this was also.
I think it was 6 army men hanging from a string. Is what it was.
That's what it ended up being. But I guarantee you that with all the different rewrites that they did for this movie, because again, this is a writer's strike movie, so they never had a complete script for this, and we're just slapping together 3, 4, 5, 6 ideas together. And
so hired scabs during that at all.
maybe, who knows? But then we're still seeing the seeds of this, because if you watch the Craven trailer, they're trying to seed in Rhino. Because so they're still trying to make this thing, and because what it ultimately is it's the issue of a CEO who gets an idea in his head and won't let it go. It doesn't matter what the world is telling him. It doesn't matter that the idea is faltering. It's Elon Musk, but it's in movies. He just can't accept that he's wrong.
The thing that made Marvel work in the tens was it was very safe. It was very. They didn't take very many risks. It was pretty much all of their movies were kind of 3 stars. You knew what you were expecting, and they just kind of trudged along. But now it seems like everyone, especially Sony, it just seems like everybody's cocky and like, it worked 10 years ago. Let's just kind of drop some sprinklings of something that resembles what happened 15 years ago. Yes, Cody Leach's cameo in
Wait, is this a thing? Is there, oh, okay. I was going to say, does this movie reference Cody? If it does, 10 out of 10. Best movie ever.
No. What they're doing is just so cynical, and like, at least the one thing you could give Marvel back then was they didn't sacrifice. I don't want to say quality. They tried to make a decent thing. They didn't, try to make something spectacular, but they made sure it was some sort of, I don't know, quality factory.
Well, they also made sure that like they had jumping off points. It's like, okay, so here's Iron Man. Okay, people like Iron Man. Here's Hulk. Okay, people kind of like Hulk. Here's more of Iron Man to make up for people not liking Hulk so much. Captain America, Thor, Avengers. Hey, we're getting away with all this. Like they could have canceled anything at any time. They could have just said like, yeah, we wanted to do Avengers, but Cap and Thor crashed horribly, so we're not doing that anymore. They could parse back. They could experiment. They gave themselves room to wiggle. But what these other ones, especially Sony and especially the Dark Universe and the Snyder stuff wanted to do, the universe that never existed, is they just were out the gate being like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Here's the 6 movies. Here's the cast. Here's the ideas for the scripts. And here's the first movie. Oh, everyone hates it. And what do you do? It's you either keep going with the thing because you said you're going to do it even though no one likes it, or you abandon ship. And the answer to a lot of these should have been abandoned ship a lot sooner.
I think the worst thing to happen to any studio not named Marvel was Guardians of the Galaxy being as successful as it was for normies. Because I know I was like, what, space people they're connected to Avengers, whatever. And then that weekend I saw it that Sunday, and I was mesmerized. So
I mean, I was always down because I love James Gunn. Because so I was like, the moment I knew he was directing, I was like, okay, I'm into this.
Normies.
I'm pseudo normie.
Normie said raccoons talking from space. No, and it worked.
James Gunn was totally not writing Superman during the writer's strikes.
Well,
although apparently I just learned today that James Gunn has a writing credit on Acme versus Coyote. I didn't know that was a thing. That's nuts to me. Anyway, sorry.
That might be the real reason why they cut it.
Maybe.
He's doing what? Kill that movie.
That sounds like Warner.
Right? No, anyway, we'll get into all that later, I think.
But so the fact, one way or another.
So did anything for this movie work for you, CP? Charles?
No.
Just out of curiosity. No. Hard no at that.
Because I didn't realize that the multicolored goo people were actually a thing. Like
symbiotes.
What is that?
The symbiotes.
Yeah, they're called symbiotes or symbiotes, if you will.
The pearlescent purple one and the green one, and
the two that like combined together. We're like, hey, we're super cool.
Yeah, and then there was that
slimy Power Rangers.
Yes,
pretty much. Yeah.
It was like
Slime Rangers.
Like off-brand Venom dolls that you get at the dollar store. Like, it's not quite Venom, it's not licensed, but here's purple person, and they just became expendable in that third act, where it's just like, I'll help you keep going, and next, and
it's also one of those third acts where he's just like, okay, we're gonna hold him back, run while we die, so you can run,
right?
And then the guy doesn't run and just stands there and watches them all die. So it's like, Thanks.
Yeah, there's that thing with the door, if you know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
talking about. Like,
Yeah.
and someone else does not have the luxury of hiding behind a door. It was just like, well, you could have what?
I'm pretty sure he died. Shy will tell edgy for. I'm pretty sure it's. Oh, I guess spoilers. I shouldn't have said that. Pretty sure he
Jerk.
died. Yeah. It's not like
Um,
anyone knows who that is.
But-
So, do they? Out of curiosity, do they? You've mentioned kind of these multicolored symbiote ones. Do they have like names for them and stuff? Because
who cares?
there are,
Yes, in the comic
of course, like
there are
everyone knows
several
Carnage, but
names.
like
Mhm.
they know the ones. There are a bunch of them from the comics that were like Agony, Toxin, Scream, Phage. Like there's a bunch of these weird ones. Like they do kind of exist, but then they also had like custom ones for like weird what ifs and stuff. But I
Do
don't
any
know.
of
Did
them
they
have
make
normal
them
names?
characters?
Like, is there
or-
a Bob or are they?
None of them are like that. No, you got like Venom, Carnage. You know, they're all fun. Toxin, stuff like that. One that's just Z's, but
Z's.
I don't know. Are they characters at all, or is
Yes,
it
yes.
just?
There was Lasher was the one that took over the Christmas lady. And Agony was also in there, and so was Phage and Scream. These are all from the comic books as well. They all didn't show up in this part of the
Mhm.
comic books, if you will. So they're doing the Feige thing where they just bring in whatever they want from wherever they want and
Mhm.
put it all together. The two-headed symbiote in the comic books has more than just two heads. He's got several arms, several mouths, and multiple heads. And of course, there's Null, the rock and roll brooder, king of the symbiotes that you saw at the beginning of the movie, who
Hell
winds
yeah.
up, giving out his big giant smile. So
Is he connected to the sword from Thor: Love and Thunder, or
he should have been, but
Okay,
they
sure.
didn't license that out. They had to write around it.
Okay.
Wait, where else was this shit explained? Because it sure as fuck wasn't explained in Last Dance.
No,
In
no.
the comic books,
Mhm.
Uh,
and the direct has a breakdown as well that I happen to be cheating from.
Mhm.
so yeah,
There was
not
even a
above-
symbiote in the comics named Urinal Cake, apparently.
Nice.
So, they go weird with it. But sorry to interrupt, Charles.
no, so what we were saying before about Marvel and Guardians of the Galaxy, normies somehow fell in love with a tree and a talking raccoon from space. What the reason that it worked was because Marvel held their hand through this. Spider-Man, like Sony, is just like fucking things from comics. Go. And they don't really explain any of it. They don't hold your hand through it, and they just show you things like it's a fan film. They don't they show you a character. They do like the I don't know, cheating again, copying the homework off the person next to you. They do this like kind of Thanos thing where they give you the big bad in the prologue and the epilogue, and you don't really experience him at all. And it's like, oh, cool. Can't wait to watch the next movie for that character that might be in that one. Like, that's not how you do this. The thing about Thanos from Marvel was he was post-credit shit. That's all he was for what, 4 or 5 movies? It wasn't like the first thing you see on the screen is just Thanos sitting in a chair, like, oh man, I'm gonna kill some people. And then you don't see him again for an hour and a half.
Wasn't even the same actor. They changed actors a couple of
They
times,
did.
which is something they've officially stopped doing.
Yeah, it's just like shortcut shit. And you can't tell me that they spent $120 million just with like this fuck it energy. And the fact that they made 51 domestic alone is really, really disheartening.
Yeah, it's no cool. Like, what's this? I know he's the god of the symbiotes, and like I shouldn't just write him off as like the rock and roll. I can't say ours today. Emo king of Marvel, but like every word out of his mouth just bored me so much. I could not. He could be holding my mom and threatening to kill her, and I couldn't care just because it's him. There's just something about it.
Which one?
Null. He was just such an uninteresting character. The emo
guy.
Well, you wouldn't know it from the scenes that he was in, but his hands are fused to that sword that he was holding. Again, you wouldn't know it if you
Based.
saw the movie. So
Based. Wait, so is that supposed to be the sword from Love and Thunder then?
that's the actual sword that was not used in Love and Thunder. because they did not give that to them. They had their own plans apparently,
Dude,
Okay.
and they plan on using him more. Apparently, the writer said that there's more coming from Null. So we're going to have some more symbiote on human action and some other stuff happening that has zero to do with anything other than using up the characters that they have that are related to Spider-Man.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, I just no, you can't. I don't think normies are going to go look through 4 movies to understand why that picture makes sense anymore. I don't think you can get away with that, especially after like what 4 or 5 just shitty years of movies as far as the cape shit is concerned.
If you look at the last few releases, for sure, it seems like people are getting tired of it.
Yeah,
But could it just be that they're not, at top level of performance or whatever? I don't think anyone's arguing that like a lot of them got robbed, aside from maybe Joker. But it's a select few of us who are arguing.
I just feel like Deadpool Wolverine, great job, but I feel like the wrong message is going to go to the money people. Like, oh, see,
Oh, it always does.
we're still going strong, baby.
Yeah, let's just team them up. It's going to be good.
Well, I mean, like, what lesson did they learn from Catwoman? Oh, superhero ladies don't make money. Not take these movies seriously. Yeah, they always learn the wrong lesson.
They're going to be wheeling out Hugh Jackman until he finally starts looking like Stan Lee.
He's going to actually be Old Man Logan.
I mean, if anything, the fact that this week, Blade was taken off the schedule.
Yeah.
You have a Blade. There's only one. You have a movie with a very successful Blade in it. Just do that.
Perhaps that's what they're doing.
I hope so.
You never know.
Don't think they were ever going to make Blade. I seriously don't. I have no proof for it. Put on your tinfoil hats. But I don't think they were ever going to make Blade. I think they wanted to lock somebody down so he didn't go over to DC or somebody else. And they put some stuff in place. The only reason they wanted Blade, in my view, is so that he could introduce the daughter of Blade and move towards the younger female direction of Marvel that they happen to be doing. If they're not female, they're gay.
Yeah, but you think the backlash of the internet is going to be okay with gay daughter vampire?
They don't care.
Maybe.
They don't care.
Oh, yeah, the people making it don't care.
Yes, the people making it don't care. They keep spooning witches at them, and it's like we're in a change. That
so it's weird because it's the magic side of it, and it's always been like a lesser side of it. But there is something cool that you could do with a team up that's been teased for quite a while, and it is like the Midnight Suns thing, where you could just have Blade as part of a team. You'd have a bunch of the other kind of more dark magic characters in there. It could be really awesome. But
the male Avengers are getting old and they need to be replaced, and it's time for the female Avengers that will still be called the
young Avengers.
Female Avengers.
They're not all going to be female. We got
they'll be gay.
I'm blanking on his name. Wiccan. He's going to be leading the team. It'll be great. We got to find Tommy next.
He won't be leading the team. It'll be somebody else. But the thing is that by the time that they get around to doing these young Avengers with these young Avengers that they have established, they'll no longer be young. They'll be just the Avengers. It's like if your fast food is more than 15 minutes late, it's food. It's not fast anymore.
It seems like they might have an idea for this, from what I understand. But Bob the Goon Hawkins mentions that there's only one Blade. And there's only going to be one Blade. And so far, I think he's right. I think we're getting Wesley back in one form or another.
It makes sense at this point. Like, you get the best of a couple of worlds. I mean, get something from Mahershala Ali. I mean, it's kind of a bummer that he's out now.
How'd they fumble that? Like,
and then in the Eternals, they had Dane Whitman, the Black Knight or whatever, who's being teased by Mahershala Ali's actual like voiceover, saying like, "Oh yeah, let me teach you about it." Like I wanted to see a buddy flick where Blade is going to teach him the way of the sword, but never going to get that. That whole post credit scene is for nothing in a movie that's also for nothing. That left these Celestials for nothing. It's weird what they chose to do.
Well, the other post credits scene I also don't think is going to go anywhere when they introduced what's his name as Thanos' brother. What's that character's name and who was the actor? It's a singer.
Harry Styles, I think. Harry, thinking of.
That's who it is.
Right.
Harry Styles. I don't remember who the character is though, but oh my god, now I'm blanking on the comedian actor who comes in and like does the introduction for him.
Charles Patterson.
No.
You almost said
He
yes.
would be so
wrong
much.
with
Yeah. I believed it for a second, bro. I'm pulling for you.
you? That's how you start rumors.
Seriously. Although I keep hearing rumors that I guess
Patton
they're going to
Oswalt.
use Patton Oswalt. Thank you. That's it.
Credit goes to
Thank you. That's why you're my boy. You're bailing me out here.
Adam.
I keep hearing that they're going to say that the dead eternal, or not the dead eternal, because it's the dead god thing that's in the ocean. I guess that's how they're going to start getting adamantium, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I guess
We'll see. They're gonna reboot it real soon, so I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of loose ends that they never tie together.
Well, that's how they're tying in the dead celestial. He's chock full of adamantium.
Yeah. Like they're just gonna go up and just like chip his face off, and they're gonna use the face of this dead thing.
Mining of the dead. That's what they like to do,
Is it weird to suggest that if they're, I mean, they all have some sort of streaming network at this point. Is it weird to suggest that if you're going to do these far expanding, massive scope things that are taking place in different universes and different parts of the world, to do it as a series? And if you're going to do a contained story, to do it in a movie format? I realize that sounds ass backwards, but
I think that makes a ton of sense. And I think that's what people are kind of praising Agatha. The few that are watching it seem to be praising it for that. You don't need to know the like 30 something movies going into it. It helps to know like what happened with Wanda and that whole backstory. But from people who haven't watched any of that, apparently they can just pick it up right away. So I think that's hopefully the way that they're going, but we'll see.
It is a little crazy the amount of homework you need to do for some of these things these days. Like
I just feel like if you're going to do a television series, you're kind of, if you're going to be in it for the haul, you're going to be in it for a few hours. Like if you're there, you're there. Whereas a movie, it's just like, all right, which ones do I need to watch to understand this part at the 10-minute mark? Like that's not the way movies are.
The real frustrating part about the D+, which is a rating as well as a channel, D+ thing, is that they come from a lineage of knowing how to do TV. The Disney Channel, they know how to do TV. ABC News, they know how to do TV. Not just the news, but ABC. They have people that could have migrated sideways who could have managed these TV shows and television movies to make them in such a way that they would stay within the budget and be as fruitful as any television show has been out there, as opposed to the crap that they served us.
Dude, Disney ruined ESPN. How do you ruin sports?
Secret Invasion cost $500 million.
I mean, they did have to start over again, so that's going to add up.
Yeah, because they didn't hire people to do TV that knew how to do TV. I'm not going to get into the whole DEI thing or anything like
Please
that.
don't.
That's not that's not where I'm going with this. But what I am saying is that they did put the wrong people in charge because they were not qualified for it. Who knows why they weren't qualified for it, and who knows why they got the job. There's always been like sort of a payola or nepo babies and things like that. There's always a reason why you can get a job doing something.
Sure.
And I think a lot of that kind of came together right when this was happening. I know a guy who can do this, and let me call a guy and we'll get this taken care of for you.
Well, that's always been their thing. Like, I mean, how many like $5 million movies are out there where there's like 6 producers? And it's like, what? Why do you need so many producers on this tiny project? They always find these ways to need extra people that just somehow.
If if there's more than 5 production company cards in front of a film, I won't watch it. I just won't. You
If
don't
it's
have any-
cheap, that
Sometimes
usually
it's
means,
good.
yeah, that they could be splitting the cost for distribution. If it's a cheap movie, that may make sense.
The most
It's-
egregious one that I've seen was oh, now I'm forgetting the name of it.
Oh, no.
Late Night with the Devil. It seemed like that had like
Ooh.
15 minutes of title cards, which was great. But I kept thinking like, oh, so this is how they're starting the movie. Nope, another title card.
It's like that Family
kinda
Guy joke.
Yeah, it felt like it, but that movie is awesome. So I hear what you're saying, Rosales, but make exceptions, man.
Well, there's been some confirmations. Like I think it was like around 2023. Disney's like, okay, we made some mistakes. A lot of our Disney Plus shows didn't have showrunners, but that's the thing we're going to make sure we have from this point going on. If you're not in the where, a show not having a showrunner is like a movie not having a director. It's just not going to go well. I don't know which shows didn't have showrunners and which ones did, but whoever's in charge of all
showrunners, and everything was coming down through notes from up on high from the business office about how things should go, what should happen, and what the way it should be done. So they were following the notes in building this, and then when they got what they wanted, they saw it wasn't really what was working, and so they gave them more notes to refilm everything, and so everybody has to come back on, and the budget inflates and inflates and inflates. And so when they did make that correction and said, yes, we're going to hire some people that actually know how to show run, and we're going to put an executive with every single program to make sure that it stays within our standards. So they didn't change anything. They did the politician thing and said we're going to do one thing, which is not really the thing that anybody wants to do.
It is also worth pointing out. It's only been a year since they made that announcement. It takes a little time because, like, we're probably not going to see a show that got started after that announcement for another year or two. But other studios they make these mistakes too. Like, I'm just saying, Warner Brothers did this with all the Snyder stuff. They completely fucked it. Sooner or later, you're going to make mistakes as a studio head. Like, it's not a unique to Disney thing. It's definitely not a unique thing to Warner Brothers. Just look at how whatever studio it was handled the Dark Universe. I know I'm cutting you off.
Charles has a question.
I apologize. Go ahead.
No, so this has something to do with what we talked about earlier, Rosales. Is it possible that Disney was pumping so much into their Disney Plus Hulu shit to help inflate the value for someone who was whatever they were trying to do with the was it the sale or what was the thing with Disney and Hulu that they were trying to pump up the value recently? Was that in that time frame?
No, that was before that, I think. But they did try to. Their end goal is to rebrand Hulu to D Plus, and
because it's that in Europe. In Europe, Hulu is Disney Plus.
Yes, that's the end goal here. So there's a lot of stuff that they are doing, like going forward as we get closer to January, February, where there's going to be some kind of earnings call. They're going to start cutting productions. They're going to start moving things back, which is why you got that announcement about Blade. Okay, so that's coming out, and then they're going to move things back and forth, like they did with Moana, which was a TV show that they decided to turn into a streaming platform show. No, it went from a streaming platform show to a movie in theaters, which you can't do without a lot of legal stuff.
So can an argument be made that they had these big budget productions, and knowing how well some of those accountants
are hostile takeover. They were fighting a hostile takeover from outside people. That's why they inflated everything.
Is there a chance that some people had some really swanky gigs to just receive a paycheck?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I see that. I very much see that as a reality of what was going on, and we're going to start getting a lot of disgruntled employees coming out pretty soon, I think, as we get closer to the end of the quarter.
I mean, money's money. You pick the industry. I mean, when the banks went tits up in 2008, and all of the people in charge of the banks had $1 million bonuses that year, it's just like, I'm sorry, what? So I'm not surprised. My argument I don't know if it was you or Gray that said it, Rosales. I don't think they always put every dollar they report on the screen. I guess that's what I'm trying to. What are you
No,
laughing
no,
at,
no,
Gray?
no, no. No, not. I don't think so either. There's a story that's told about the Ghostbusters where they owed a percentage to Filmation for using the name the Ghostbusters that they owned and copyrighted and trademarked and everything else, and uh, they gave them like $50,000, I think, up front and a portion of the back end. And Ghostbusters, until the day that Filmation folded, never made a profit. According to the accounting, they didn't make cent one. So
Wow.
Filmation got nothing but what they gave them in the first place. But
My story
they
about that is I think it was around Harry Potter 5. All the kids they're supposed to start getting huge pay bonuses, but then suddenly around Harry Potter 5, the studio stopped reporting. Oh, just they're not runaway successes. They're doing okay. Like we're making money, not that much though.
oh yeah, and Disney knows how to do that too, because a lot of their shows that they had on Disney, the regular Disney Channel, Disney, they would go about 3 years and then change the show. The show would change its format, and then it would get a new title, and basically it made it a new show. And that was because everybody who was working on those shows were working for half scale in order to get full scale if the show lasted longer than 3 years, 3 seasons. And as soon as the season 3 hit, they changed it to a different program, even though it was the same thing. It's not just the Sweet Life anymore. It's the Sweet Life on Deck. So now they're on a boat instead of being in a hotel. So it's a totally different new show with the same characters and everything else. It's a spinoff, if you will. So they go back to being paid half of scale like they were before. And the only way that they could get more is if everybody on the show, including people in the unions, voted together as a unit to get the increase, and they could never get anybody together. So that was one of the stories that one of the Sprouse boys told. Cole or Dylan, they all look alike to me.
I guess there's this bizarre precedent that's been set, and with Sony Columbia just kind of ass backwards falling into $150 million worldwide right now with Venom. Like, nobody's going to learn a lesson. Nobody is.
Well, do you think what do you think they're going to try and do after this movie? Because
do another Spider-Man. That's it. Take their money, put it in their pocket, and say, hey, we keep going. Why? Do you think there's something else they're going to do?
No, are they going to try? They seem to be wanting to try and spin off with some of these Goop Rangers.
But why don't they try better? This movie was shit, Lindsay.
Oh no, it was shit, but I mean, it's shit because it's sequel to a movie that wasn't very good, that had a sequel that it wasn't very good, and now this is the threequel that's not very good. And again, it's a writer's strike movie. If anything, we're lucky it's as coherent as it is. Like, this could have been so much worse. Do you remember Quantum of Solace? That was a writer's strike movie. Like,
that's actually kind of good. They
shot it
as they were shooting it without a script, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
That's how they shot Iron Man.
Yeah.
They didn't have a script.
Well, but everyone in that movie is so good at improvising that they were able to pull something out of it. That's a 1 in a million writer strike movie right there.
Another reason to just blame Marvel. Hashtag blame Marvel. Their first entry. Nailed
what was
it.
the other really big writer strike movie? Oh, Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen was also Michael Bay had to basically just write 3/4 of that movie.
Speaking of falling backwards into luck.
So Adam's got I'm sorry. I just jumped right in all over.
No. What do you got, Adam? Spider-Man 4 is already said to come out in July 2026, and with rumors that it's going to be another multiverse film with Andrew and Toby coming back. I can see Sony putting them up against Null. Knull?
No.
That's the guy, emo guy.
The blonde, the white-haired.
Yes.
The zebra dude?
Guy with the sword stuck to his hand. Yes.
The dude that made me bounce off the movie and be like, "Yeah, this is bad."
Yeah.
I don't
He's
know
not
about.
explained well enough for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I agree. I haven't heard anything about him coming into Marvel to like go up against Spider-Man, but I have heard the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie is going to be another multiverse movie. Whether that means more Andrew Garfield and Toby or not, I don't know. But I'm personally really disappointed because I thought the end of No Way Home was that he's going to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man now, and he's finally going to be doing the street level stuff, not the multi-dimensional world-ending stuff. And
Yeah.
I guess I'm the
Contained
fool.
stories.
Well, that's the thing that everybody wants to see. They want him to team up with Daredevil and go against the Kingpin and fight the Punisher and do all that street level stuff. But that's not going to happen with the Tom Holland. And as long as Sony owns all of the characters related to Spider-Man, including like MJ and all of the other characters that are hanging out with him in school, then Disney's going to be paying through the nose to get that, just like they're paying through the nose to get the rest of Hulu. Just a couple of bad choices, and there's a history of bad choices that companies make.
And nobody's going to learn from this somewhat success. I guess it's just a critical success that Penguin is, because if anyone needs a half
Penguin's doing really
victory,
good right now.
it's Warner with their DC shit. And
Mhm.
hey, look, you didn't have to make a movie.
Yeah, let's see. I haven't seen this tonight's episode yet, so I don't know anything about that. But I'm going to watch it later. But they are doing as best they can to keep the Penguin as based in reality as they can. They've made all the reasons in the world for him to have an underground lair, in a dank, musty place, because the drug, spoiler alert, is coming off of mushrooms. And so, he needs the dark, dank place to keep the mushrooms and to grow the mushrooms. And so that's all part of the master plan, if you will. And
How they justified why.
Kinda makes sense. I was just saying it kind of makes sense. He's got an underground layer, but this time it's for logistical reasons.
How they
What else
justified
you
why he
guys
has
found?
an umbrella with a machine gun in it?
that
Not
hasn't
yet, but he doesn't have that yet.
Okay. Yes, it's coming.
We don't know if he's going to fly off with the helicopter umbrella or anything else.
The season finale, he's going to escape like that. So
I think they did confirm there aren't going to be additional seasons, so
not really.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting if it is just a one-off, but it's very successful, so I kind of doubt whether they could do that.
I think critical
required
and financial success are kind of hard.
Well, they're spending way too much money on producing these not syndicated, but these streaming shows. And I wrote an article about that, talking about how going back to, say, like just the 90s era of television might be able to financially save these streaming services with their programming. If they're going to continue to make original programming, there's a history, a plethora of ways of doing that without breaking the bank, unless all you're doing is grifting and stealing money off the top, laundering funds in criminal shows.
Yeah, I feel like the entertainment industry is shifting, and to approach everything, I mean, movies were top dog for a very long time, probably close to, if not over a century. And now you have these short burst things, these TikTok. I think they said your target audience, as in the entertainment industry, is 17 to 24, and they say that most people in that age range don't even watch movies start to finish anymore. So like they're not adapting to that properly.
No, my son watches these mixed videos that are placed up on YouTube after they played out in every other streaming media, and they're just clips of shows. So he'll watch like all of this random SpongeBob stuff that's just scene after scene after scene after scene, disconnected, disjointed, out of sequence, and he's having a great time. And that's terrible.
I agree.
Yeah, it's I mean I definitely have looked up like the comedy montage from like Parks and Rec
What's
before
that,
for this,
Mr.
that,
I
or
Make
another.
Shorts videos? Please tell us about the world for Gen Z.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely that, but also like sometimes
Why are you
compilation
leaning like
videos.
a cock? Put your arm down.
No, I will not.
Well, funny story.
Well, it's just, well, honestly, sometimes those compilations are really good for getting footage. Like if I need, like if I'm trying to talk about a show or something like that, those compilations will have all the best scenes. So I end up watching a lot of them just for that. But also sometimes they're just kind of fun. I
No,
don't
you
know.
pay for them, you mean. You get the
Well, yeah.
proper licensing.
I did I did like a 15 seconds test of Steamboat Willie in January and posted it. And Gray's seen it. He's just on the deck and he's swinging his arms. He's moving the boat, and the waves are ridiculously high. Nobody could navigate through them if you were trying to dissect it and analyze it. Good luck, it's a cartoon. And that got the most views on of anything that I've ever had on my channel whatsoever, because it was a subject that was right on the tip, and it was really short, and people just kind of cycled through it.
Well, that's like that Mousetrap movie that they rushed.
Yeah.
There's a theory that they had it shot before the
Oh yeah.
January 1st or whatever, and then they kind of were able to work on it after that. That it is so shoehorned in there that it's not really a movie. Like that's, you're not being creative. You're not trying to draw an audience. You're trying to capitalize on something, and that's not the way this works. I don't
That's the
know
way
very many.
YouTube works.
I guess. Like, I don't know very many people that are like, oh man, you know what I want to see? A 100-year-old property as some weird horror movie. It's more like a meme. Like people watch and reference things like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey for the joke, not for, oh my God.
Right.
I
Entertainment.
hope. Yeah, it kind of it goes back to the Morbius thing. Yeah, people are talking about it. Doesn't mean they're paying for it.
Yeah, the
How do we know it's not Morbin time? It could be.
Gibbity Toilet is going to be a film directed by Michael Mann.
Bay.
Michael Bay, that's
Man,
right.
I'll
The,
see that.
the man, Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. So there's going to be a lot of circling drone shots. And he bought into that and is producing a lot of the exterior things that, you know, the products that are being sold, the ancillary products, if you will. And he thinks it's going to be the next big thing since the Transformers. So he was there for Transformers. He was there for the Ninja Turtles, and he's there for Skibbity Toilet.
How is he
because
going to shoehorn the female figure into the Skibbity Toilet shit?
I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
Megan Fox just draped over a toilet.
Well, no, it's got to be her little sister now because
Yeah, she's aged out. Come on, Charles.
She's like 34 now. That's
yeah,
might as well be dead.
Ag. She's gonna play the mom. That's what she's gonna do. She's gonna play the mom. So, but yeah, I mean, he thinks that just because it's popular on the interwebs and the social medias that it's going to be the next big thing in Hollywood. You know, a la Fred.
Yeah, I don't think certain people understand or are trying to understand what makes people interested, and if they would figure it out, they'd realize that movies aren't the route to take for whatever you're trying to do with, you know, TikTok kids. You're going after the wrong audience.
Well, they failed to do the shorts streaming channel, which was like maximum 3 minutes.
Quibi?
Yes, Quibi failed big time and trying to jump right into that audience because I don't think you can really monetize anything off of Twitter without having a monetization model.
Mm.
You know, even the people that do the big numbers on there are hawking stuff and are being paid to hawk stuff.
Right.
And those things, I don't know if they're selling or not, but they're making money for at least the marketing team, which is the person making the video. So
I think
So
I remember
ads
reading
drives
this.
everything then.
Oh, sorry.
No, no,
I-
I was just saying ads drives everything then, no matter
Oh.
where it is. Streaming service, you got to have ads because they'll pay for it. Sorry, Linda, go ahead.
No, I was gonna. When Quibi was failing, I remember reading this thing or watching this thing about it. How like they wanted to be like the Twitter for video. Like you're watching things in between when you're doing things when you're on your phone, but just like we're on our phones while we're watching TV shows at home, while we're watching our streaming shows, while we're watching movies at home, or while we're standing in line at the bank. It's like we don't really have 10-15 minutes in between things that we were doing to watch a Quibi episode. Like that's the thing about Quibi that always blew my mind. It's like you want to do a short form
Too long
videos.
for you.
Oh, there's that too, but it's like who's the target demographic? You want to get people that are always on their phones, but so they're going to watch your Quibi show while they're watching The Apprentice. I don't know, well, not The Apprentice, while watching some other show.
I mean,
I don't know why that was the first show
maybe.
that popped in my mind, but
Relevant.
I don't know. It's just never had an audience, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make. And these TikTok things, like I guess I am the shorts guy here, but
I don't think you can. I don't think you could create that like TikTok. I mean, granted, there are like scripted things that are done on TikTok, but there's something organic about that, like reality non-scripted thing. Even though some of them are, you can't.
scripted.
Yeah, putting too much production in
Mhm.
short form just seems like you're missing it. What are you doing?
It's like building a dark universe without making any movies.
Yeah.
Any day though.
It also blew my mind when that picture, the Dark Universe picture, when I heard that it was all taken separately. Like they couldn't even get those guys together for like a 30-second photo shoot. That's nuts to me. I don't know. You know how much I'm talking about, right? Like
with Johnny Depp and
Yeah.
they're all like
Yeah.
seated and whatever. So speaking of wasting money,
Oh, I'm good at that.
Warner Brothers, we were talking about a couple of things last week, and something came up this week, and I think Sean Chandler posted, he retweeted someone.
Mr. Sean.
The budget for the red one, which is the Dwayne Johnson.
Doesn't it also have Chris Evans in it or
Chris Evans.
someone?
Yeah, like The Rock is
Who's
like
the
Santa's
actors?
bodyguard. Chris Evans is like, I don't know. some
J.K.
SEAL
Simmons
Team
is
6.
Santa.
Well, for the record,
Oh,
I love
dude, he's
love
ripped.
that. I do love J.K. Simmons as Santa. I kind of want to see a better movie with J.K. Simmons as Santa.
So that movie's budget is $250 million.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you got to pay for JK. Plus, the Iron Jungle, it has to it has to be moved with the Rock from location to location, so
What are
it makes sense.
talking about? What is the
He's got a
Iron
gym, like his the Iron Paradise, whatever he calls it.
That's
He's got a
insane.
special gym that goes location to location with
The
him
Iron
because
Lung?
He always has to have his pump on. It's great. You're paying for that. It costs extra.
I do remember Arnold had something like that in his contract for Terminator 3. And so in addition to getting $20 million, just straight up, he also had to pay for like his private chef, his private weight set and trainer, and like his like backup trainer had to be like with him wherever they were shooting at all times. Like it's nuts what people get in contracts.
So I have a question to everyone.
Mhm.
This red one thing
Mhm.
is original.
Sir, you need to put more pain in those quotation marks.
It's not like a franchise. It's I don't know. It's its own
Hasn't it
thing.
kind of been done? Like I swear there's been like a Rambo crossed with like Santa thing before. Like
Santa
Rambo
Cinematic Universe.
Santa. It does feel like a pseudo sequel to Red Notice. Does anyone else remember Red Notice?
I think that's the one that I was thinking of. Was that the one with what's his name from? Is it the one with the dude from Stranger Things? No, I'm blanking. That's
No.
sorry, you keep going. I'm like
Uh,
remembering 3 different ones at the same time. Sorry,
I'm
why don't you talk about
fascinated.
Red Notice?
I'm fascinated where your mind went. Well, we'll circle back around to that if you remember. But Red Notice was
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, and The
Oh, the
Rock. All
Netflix thing.
yeah, it was like,
Violent Night was the one that I was thinking of. Sorry.
oh, I do want to see that, by the way. That does look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Red Notice was like the most watched movie in the world for like a week on Netflix or something like that, and it got a lot of attention just because of that. And it's like the most generic, like not even bad, but like just inoffensive. Like not, it's like the flavorless like oatmeal of movies.
That's how I feel about the Russo movies that are going to Netflix. I
I
enjoy them, but I forget them. Like I was like, that was fun. What I just watch?
We need to do a whole special episode just on the Russos post Endgame career, because like it is some of the things like they're out there trying to make names for themselves outside of Marvel, but man, some of the things they've been done are weird, and man, some of them have been bad.
I think that Red One, they expect it to do more than they would something else. What I mean by that is that they've got toys for it for Christmas, and so there are action figures, McFarlane toys, collectibles. They expect that this movie will branch out beyond just going to the movie theaters and selling some tickets, and maybe a Krampus popcorn bucket. So they do have hopes in this becoming more than just a one-off, like you were saying. They
cinematic universe
to be
in the
a
making.
franchise of some kind. I know Dwayne wants it to be. That man wants to take over Hollywood like nobody's business.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
well, yeah.
he's been trying to take over. He tried to take over DC, and even touted his own DC universe right before the sale happened.
Mhm.
He really, really wanted to be the face of DC and superheroes.
So what are we rooting for? Because this is a lot of money to put into something that this
I mean,
is
a good
like.
movie, I guess.
So
It will
if it
be.
ends up being good, and this ends up being like a 6-movie franchise, you're okay with them
Well,
putting?
I mean, how much does it have to make? So at this point, they're saying like 250, right? So
That's break even. I would
yeah,
Well,
think.
two
so we're
fifty is
talking
the
like
budget, so
Right.
advertising.
So
gotta be at
we got to
least
double
400.
that at
Yeah.
least, right? So it's got to be 500 million to
Right.
even like kind of break even. So is this supposed to be $1 billion movie? Do we have many of those November releases?
No, but they
Gladiator
all they
2's
need
at
is
the
one.
end.
All they need is
Mm.
one. I mean, you look at where they started as a company, WBD, when they went in, they were what 50 billion in debt, and they've already paid off 12 billion since that time. Yeah, a lot of that was animation that people loved and streaming shows that people cared about but weren't watching, and some tax write-offs and things like that. But he has been able to, you know, even drive that debt down. Now, on the other side of that, back in November, their stock dived like 19%, and now sits well below $10 a share.
That's Warner
So,
Discovery. That's like
yeah,
the whole
WBD.
conglomerate.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you believe in James Gunn's Superman, now's your chance to get a bite in. If you think it's going to turn around, and that's going to do their money.
We
because-
are not financial advisors, just for the
no, we are not financial advisors.
We are not fiduciaries.
I draw comic books, and notice I didn't say I sell comic books. I have them for sale, but I draw comic books. That's mainly what I do. I
Lindsay-
want to sell them.
Do you have that market share image to kind of swing back to Warner? Which Warner? Well, I'll
This one?
yeah. So the red line, that zigzaggy mess is
This
the
red
market
notice, if you will.
share. Yeah, that is the market share. That is how much of the industry is represented by Warner Brothers. The blue is how much money they've made and what the percentage of the industry is. So for 2020, since COVID, since 2019, their great year, which Joker came out in, They've had
sorry. So just to clarify, so the red is what Warner Brothers did. Blue was like the average of what the entire industry did,
no
or
blue. This is all Warner.
oh, it's all Warner. Okay.
So blue is how much they've made from their properties. Red
Okay.
is how much of the industry they represent. So if you're looking at the very end of the far right, they're almost 20% of the properties in theaters right now.
Oh,
And
wow.
their money is that of under 10%.
That's nuts.
So they represent 1 in 5 movies, and their money they're pulling in is 1 out of 10.
So wow.
They're bleeding money as far as what they represent in theaters and how much they're taking in.
You know what could have helped with the bleeding money? Releasing the movie starring the actor going through the career renaissance that everyone was loving, directed by the directors who have yet to make a flop, and every movie that they make makes a lot of money. Batgirl.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Coyote one, but fair enough.
Well, I mean, obviously, I believe Coyote versus Acme should have come out as well. But
I don't think that would have made them any money. And
I mean, it wouldn't have made them $1 billion. I'm being facetious.
It was meant to go to streaming, and so it wasn't going to make them any money at all.
What if it did well and they had some sort of sequel bullshit thing come from it? Jerks.
Yeah, what if
WBD would have been a little bit better because that would have been on their
David Zaslav coming into this a total new, definitely made lots of mistakes, and what he did was he did a couple of different things. Okay, some things he cut for tax purposes, pissed off a lot of people. Other things he tried to sell out, which is what he did. He sold the Batman Cape Crusader to Amazon, and Amazon not only picked up the project that was a full season already done, but they picked up a second season as well. So they made a little money off of that, like they were supposed to. The other movie that they tried to get out there, the Warner, the Back in Action or whatever it was, that other cartoon, they tried to get it out there, and nobody wanted to give them more than what they would have gotten from the tax write-off.
I love that happened. I was totally paying attention, Rosales.
Yeah,
Sorry that I'm just cracking up here, but that was perfect.
No. I mean, I can see right now. I am speaking like a Charlie Brown teacher.
No, I heard
we just heard like the perfect Scooby-Doo laugh in the background, and it was just like perfect.
It was pretty great.
Yes, that's my teenager. He's apparently he's doing well on the game.
Well, he also inherited the amazing impressions, if you will.
A very good laugh.
That's not an impression.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
Lindsay, the other image, the Warner for 2024. So these are all the movies that are on the Warner slate. Technically, these are only domestic. So Red One isn't there because Red One is being distributed by Warner internationally. The number in white is what they've made domestic, and the number to the right is what they've put in without marketing. So everything that is
Dune and Godzilla is it.
Yeah, well, and Beetlejuice.
Oh, fair enough.
So they
You're
put
correct.
168 into Furiosa. They brought in 67. They put in 33 to The Watchers, and someone should be fired for that. They made 19. Somehow they made money with Trap. Just happy accident. They put in 30, took in 42. Horizon, the budget was 50, although I think they have a couple
It
of
was
movies out of
gorgeous.
that.
They do. I think they're kind of reconfiguring it, and I think they're releasing it as a show now. So hopefully they'll make something off of it. But I know he also put a bunch of his own money into that. So I hope they can do something amazing with it because it looks awesome. I would have walked into the second one. It just doesn't feel like a 3-act actual movie, standalone thing.
And Beetlejuice did very well, 288 domestic on a $100 million budget. And Joker Folie à Deux, less so, with its $200+ million budget, only at 57 at the moment.
That's only so far. You never know. It's still technically in theaters. There could be a resurgence.
And also,
Juror
it could be a rounding error. Who knows? We wake up tomorrow and a banker comes out and says,
True, they're
like,
only
"Sorry,
estimates."
guys."
forgot to carry a zero. Juror
Also,
number.
I have a correction to throw. Jury number 2. Talk about jury number 2. Then I've got
What do you have to
correct for
correct?
you. Trap and the Watchers. This needs to. We always need to double check this when we're talking about M. Night movies these days.
Uh-oh.
Warner's did not pay for those movies. M. Night paid for those movies out of his own pocket, and then Warner Brothers picked up distribution. So that $33 million that was spent on the Watchers, that was not Warner Brothers money. That was M. Night's money.
Do you have that for sure?
Oh yeah, M. Night pays for all of his own movies these days.
Well, he might have been reimbursed.
As
He
he
might have
should.
sold them, and then they distributed them.
Right.
Then
Well, so maybe the 33 is a mix of what M. Night spent out of his own pocket and what Warner Brothers spent for distribution rights. That is fair.
Your homework is to figure out the Watchers and Trap, just how much Warner paid versus how much M. Night took in.
I'll try.
I do know that yeah, you're right. M. Night produces his own shit and then he sells it, but that is misleading. Yeah, I mean they could have paid $30 million for the property and
oh my god,
Horizon may be along the same lines too, with Costner doing the same. I know he footed a lot of the bill for that, so I think he's going to personally lose out on a lot if they can't figure out a way to make it. So I'm not sure how that one breaks down either. But still, they don't seem to be making a ton. Like even if they're only distributing these, they're not choosing ones that seem to be hitting. Yeah. I would have to imagine that graph's going to look even worse once 2023 and 2024 are added to it.
Right. So juror number 2. Go ahead, Lindsay.
You were right. Give me time to figure out for Trap, but 30 million is what Knight sold the Watchers to Warner Brothers for. So someone does need to be fired for that because that is not a $30 million movie. I tried to give them the benefit
Horizon
of the
might
doubt.
be the same thing then too.
That's fair.
Wow.
That's rough. It's a bad year for that because like you got Megalopolis that cost 120 million and it made like what 7?
Did it even $1?
But I don't think
they're literally $7.
That.
Yeah, that's it. No, you're right. But I'm just in general.
So juror number 2 comes out next week. That is the Clint Eastwood movie that was made for 35 million or sold for 35. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to make that back domestic. And the Lord of the Rings prequel apparently is north of 150.
That makes sense.
I haven't heard a thing about it other than it was pushed back twice.
Yeah, all I know is it was pushed back twice. They took a character who had like, I think a single line of dialogue about them in one throwaway book and made her the main character. And the trailer looks fucking sick. Those are the only things I know about this movie. It could be terrible, but that trailer has me excited, if nothing else.
That's the cartoon?
The animated one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why are they spending so much money on animated? What the?
I mean, it looks really good.
It does.
Animation is expensive to do.
It is. It takes a long time. Well, it's expensive to do it right.
Yes.
You can spend $5 and just get what you get.
So,
I charge a lot.
Dune, they're doing all right with. Godzilla, damn them for it, but they do just fine with those.
For some reason.
Beetlejuice, that did very well. Everything else on that list just seems like very, very bad money management.
Yeah.
So what's the wrong lesson they're going to learn?
Joker 3?
It's
we were all busy that weekend. If you make Joker 3, we'll come out and see it, I promise.
I feel like
it's Joker time.
Oh god.
Even their $30 million things, they're not getting the Blumhouse. We took 30 million and we made it into 85 million. We can deal with that. They're not getting these like small victories. They're either
when they kind of did.
One more.
I mean, like Joker, like even when they kind of did. Okay, so now we've got to add 5 times the budget. From what I understand, the first one was between 40 and 50. Mm-hmm. Now they're going 200 with it.
Well, to be fair, I think Joaquin cost 40 alone the second time around.
Fair enough. He won an Oscar for the first one.
Yeah, no, good for him. 100%. Like, I'm happy for the guy.
How often do Oscar winners? Well, first of all,
I mean, he's never done a sequel, has he? So I think it's unprecedented, but kind of for him too.
I think you're right about that. I don't. What other movie? Because he's not going to be in Gladiator 2. That's the only other Joaquin Phoenix movie I can think of that got a sequel. The Master, no sequel. Signs, no sequel. Johnny Cash movie, no sequel.
So wait a minute. If Zaslav and his properties represent nearly 20% of what's in cinemas, and they're bringing in what represents 10%, someone needs to be fired.
His name is David Zaslav.
Well, here Kathleen Kennedy may be looking for a job.
The trade.
I don't know.
This is true. She is currently alive, so everything that's happening at Warner Brothers is her fault. So that's fair. Okay. Oh.
But you're right, Rosales. What is the lesson, and what is the oops? We've made money.
I mean, so I don't know if Rosales has an answer to this, but I was just going to ask you, like, do you see any lesson from the box office this year? Like, I've been paying attention to it way more this year than any other year, but it seems more confusing. And like, I feel like the other years where I was barely paying attention, I could tell you what's going to like hit. This year, I have no clue.
This is a weird year to start looking at the box office, my friend.
Well, post-COVID, people are just like every 3 months, it's like we're back, and then 2 weeks later, it's like we're fucked.
It's not going back to the way it was. No. And that's the lesson that needs to be learned, and that's the lesson they're not going to learn is that you cannot spend this amount of money on this amount of product to get that much in return.
$250 million on an exotic Santa movie. What are you doing?
Well, $300 million.
It's the start of a franchise.
On a Superman movie. I thought maybe they were being smart and made 2 movies a la Donner, but they didn't. It's just one film, and they spent too much on it, and it's going to break them if they don't break the $1 billion. If they don't join the $1 billion club with the Superman.
Like serious game.
I don't see how they couldn't though. Like it's Superman. Like it's gonna. We'll see. Famous last words, I guess. I think he's still one of the properties that no matter what you do with it, it's gonna break it. But maybe I'm wrong.
Superman is one of those properties that actively has a hate group after it. Okay, so there will be coordinated campaigns to do certain things. You're probably going to get some bomb threats at opening night at some theaters because of these whack jobs out there that want Henry Cavill back for some ungodly reason.
I mean, corn sweat though.
Yeah.
How do you have all these studio notes and not with your infinite amount of producers say keep it under budget? Your cap is 75. If I have to write you a check for $100 million, someone's in trouble.
Because you have to spend money to make money. So you see, if I spend money, I will the money will come back to me because money doesn't trickle down. Money just kind of evenly spreads itself out. Like it's just like if you spend money, it just finds its way back to you. That's how the economy works.
Yes, Blumhouse does have the right formula for this point, and they should continue to follow that and move in that direction. A lot of movie theaters should do that. I mean, Blumhouse.
Blumhouse is the modern day Canon Films prior to them doing Masters of the Universe and things like that.
Right.
Canon was just direct, just fucking dollar store. Here's 50 movies, and then one makes $10, and you're like, hey, we could fund the next 50.
So is that the lesson? They're just going to Blumhouse it?
I would love to.
They should. That would be the lesson.
They should.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I want James Gunn's Superman movie to be? They will never do this, but I would adore if his Superman movie is just like. Do you guys know? Rosales will probably know this, but do you guys know the comic book story, The Man Who Has Everything? It's a Superman story. It's his birthday. Batman and Wonder Woman show up to the Fortress of Solitude to give him his birthday present. But he's gotten his birthday present from someone else, and it's like this flower that's like latched onto Superman's chest. It's giving him all these visions of all the things in life that he wants but he can't have. And the entire thing is set within the Fortress of Solitude, and it's Batman and Wonder Woman trying to fight a Superman level villain while they're trying to snap Superman out of this like dream vision. Like it would be set entirely in one location. It'd be a bottle movie, and you just have these like little flashes of like Krypton. You could make that for so freaking cheap, and it'd be so good because it's all about Superman's character. It's all about what he's lost as a person and stuff like that. It would be amazing. I don't know if anyone would like it, but it would be amazing.
Warner Brothers has a grand tradition of ignoring the great stories that were told in the animated series, and that's what that was. That was either
Oh, was it not a
Superman
comic
Adventures?
I
don't know if it was in. I don't know if it was in a comic book first.
Okay.
I left them before the comic book crash, so I stopped buying DC and Marvel because
Fair.
they kept whole nother scream. But yeah, they were pitched. I don't know if you remember the animation Batman Mr. Freeze, that movie that they did. It was like a little 90-minute Batman movie. They
Yeah.
pitched that for the next Batman movie, and they went with the Batman and Robin movie instead, or the one that has Mr. Freeze in it.
I was about to say they got Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, they went with that, but they didn't go with the right story. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger walking around going, chill,
But come on, the bat
cool
skates.
down.
You know what my favorite part about that movie is? Mr. Freeze, who if he gets too warm, he dies smoking a cigar. It's just like, what are we doing, guys?
Dude, there's something that they foolishly seem to bet big on and expect to win big on, but we brought up Blumhouse. The thing that these people can cut corners, not spend much, and when it hits, you're getting paid off. It's not $1 billion, but Longlegs was made for $10 million. That includes the crazy social media marketing that just caused this insane buzz. It made $108 million. That's 10 times.
10.8 times, or not? No, 10.08. Or anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's
It's
another
only,
film I started watching but didn't finish.
It's only $90 million, but it's 10 times.
It's pure profit.
If you make 10 movies for $10 million, you broke even because of that one that hit.
Yeah. And
horror movies are the new comic property.
My only guess, and this is just a guess, is that when he came in to do this with WB and DC, and the whole merger happened, he surrounded himself with a lot of advisors with bad advice on how to do things the Hollywood way. And I'm guessing since he did shave off, what was that, $12 billion, that he's doing what he can on one end, and they're still trying to spend the money on the other side that he's saving on the other. So, they don't have the market share. They're not getting the return, like you were saying. They're oversaturated, but they're not getting the return. They are they're leveraging way too much, even though they're throwing stuff away to keep money. It's terrible. It's a terrible business right now. It's a terrible business model, and I hope that they continue to change in how they're doing business so that they can finally be successful.
I would love for them to just start doing like Constantine. People have been crying for Keanu Reeves to return to Constantine for almost 20 years now. We're at peak.
I don't think that'll be a $10 million one, though. I think that's going to be like pretty big.
Well, yeah, you could keep it really small though. Like just have it be like he's like just investigating like a missing kid or something like that. There's a little bit of demonic things in there here and there, and you just have that be a very small, very contained street level first movie. And then when that does well, then the sequel you can start getting bigger, and then if you get a third one, you start getting even bigger than that. And you start doing things like that. Like Birds of Prey didn't make the most money in the world, but
Reeves, see, and we put him in this bed and breakfast, but it's like a maze and he can't get out. So it's all contained in one spot, but it looks different. We move a few walls. Okay, we're going to spend some money on the walls, and of course, for the Constantine guy. But that's it. It's all contained. 90 minutes of him walking around opening fucking doors.
That'd be interesting. Yeah,
kind of fun.
Just have it be a character study. Like that's when Constantine is at his best, when he's like wheeling and dealing with demons and wizards and shit like that. Anyway,
Well,
I,
and
I think if you're going to spend money like that, if you refuse to trim the fat, gamble on someone that is willing to give you one for theirs in return. At Christopher Nolan, the fact that he gave them The Dark Knight and he exchanged Inception in return for that, like, let someone bet on themselves.
Yeah.
You want the keys to the asylum there, Mr. Yeah, come make movies for us, and we'll give you the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, come on, please make another Batman, please. Please make the best comic book movie in the 21st century. We'll let you have your silly dream movie.
has it been confirmed yet if James Gunn's going to have a separate Batman from our Pat's Batman? That's been confirmed.
Pretty sure they confirmed that was not a related world.
It's just such a waste.
Yeah,
well, I mean, he can do his own. We could get Batfleck back.
That contract was made before he jumped in. So they, just like the Joker, he's got to let that play out and do its own thing. So there you go. But
I don't hate those movies. I don't hate that movie, I should say. But yeah, like the Penguin world is fun. But I think we could get an awesome, different Batman. I don't picture Pattinson when I picture Batman. But I didn't hate that movie. So I'm excited to see where Gunn is going to go with it.
I just think, for as many complaints as there are for someone like Disney, and they are bruised up to shit. At the very least, they're just throwing shit. They're just putting so much shit all over the place. Where Warner, like, the one thing you're like, I was interested in this thing, and then they scrapped it. Where it seems like every move they make, it's just like shooting themselves in the foot. Did a press, Your Honor.
But it reduces the debt, so there.
One more time.
But it reduces their debt, so there.
Well, one question. So, like Lindsay brought up earlier, like everything that we're seeing now has been in production for generally years or whatever. So, do we know that like the course is going the same way? Like, I know that we're going to be getting the Gunn universe like coming up, but
well, like Lindsay said, for the next 4 to 12 months, we're going to get strike movies, right?
Yeah. So would we know like kind of what the strategy is until after that, or
AI?
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. Even isn't Blumhouse getting into AI as well?
They are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super into it.
So is what was that, Lionsgate or somebody else?
There's been a few of those. James Cameron just joined the board for a big one recently. It's getting a little depressing out here.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of mouse clickers are going to be making movies.
James Cameron is going to help Skynet destroy the movie industry. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. I love his excuse too. It's like, 30 years ago, I was on the forefront of CGI, and then that took over everything, and we're going to do it again now. And like, it's not exactly a one-to-one.
This time it's sentient.
This time it's sentient.
Netflix is
only there was a warning.
AI film.
Oh yeah, didn't they do that already though?
A couple times. There's that AI Frayed one or whatever.
Oh, Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Like the thing you can say about Blumhouse, like they're shitty. They're just so shallow, but they're not $200 million projects. It's just like, yeah, okay, you missed with this one. Hey, look, $15 million, you made it. That's small risk, small reward.
Yeah, just
AI
like
movie that
makes a ton of money, and they make like 100 films a year. It seems like, all between June and August.
215 days of Christmas movies.
Yeah.
What was that AI movie that just came out?
Afraid.
I think it's Afraid.
Afraid. Yeah, that's it. Man, I completely forgot about that movie until just right now.
It's like it's MSG food. It's fast
Kind
food.
of.
You eat it and you're like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom, and then it's gone. It's just that's it. Movie over.
Beautiful chemical.
Gray, you've watched Smile 2 since we spoke
Yes.
last.
It did.
Thoughts?
Did it make you smile?
It did. It brought a smile to my face, and then I thought, you know what? I need to share this with the world. So I went ahead and watched it a second time with a companion. It was great. What can I say? My second favorite musical of the year. I think you're completely wrong on this, Charles. I think the second act, the second half of it, I believe you said about. I understand there's 3 acts, but I think you said the third act was the only one that didn't quite work for you. That from the second half on, it kind of lost you a bit. I dig it so much. And then after watching the second one, I rewatched the first one, then went to the second one again. Man, it just seems like everything that worked in the first one for me, they cranked up to 11 in a way. I really dig what he's doing. Parker, no, I'm forgetting his last name.
Finn
Parker Finn. That's the dude. One of those two. You know, kind of a lasty, but kind of a first. I don't know. Anyway, interesting name. I never get it correct, but I'm really excited for what he's going to do next, and I think this deserves to be a franchise. I'm kind of at the edge of my seat to find out what the real lore is and what the real lore isn't. But I can understand why that would piss you off. But going back to that first one, I think every bit of your criticisms of like reality kind of being warped or not knowing what's actually happening and kind of having this unreliable protagonist, you know, that's going on in that first one, and it happens from like the time after she gets the exposure. I believe it's like the next day where the whole like cat scene happens at the nephew's birthday party. Man, to me, the breaks with reality just work so well, and yeah, I couldn't be happier with the movie. I want more.
My issue with it is, so the thing that the movie snaps to with the climax of the movie, or okay, we're here. Where does that start? How far back are we going?
Lindsay got it right. So yeah, I think it's right as a hand enters a mouth. I think it kind of fades to black from there. Then you get shown what actually happened, like in the car crash, and then from there you wake up in this special world, if you will. And that would be like in the first one where the main protagonist kind of, you know, did they actually burn down their mother's house or whatever? There are these breaks in reality where you're actually interacting with other people. You're same thing with when she goes to see that very smiley patient, and then Cal Penn just happens to rip his face off. There are kind of like breaks with reality where you are interacting with real people, but you know, it's all in your head. I think there's quite an extended segment towards the end, but I think it makes perfect sense that that's when that whole thing starts. The no longer having control happens from when the fist enters the mouth, so to speak. I could be wrong. That's just my interpretation.
No, I'm with you, dude. I love these movies. I want Smile World, where like just everyone is trying to live their lives.
You're getting Parker Finn announced that he's going further in that universe.
Hell yeah.
I want him to, because there are unanswered questions. Things seem to be bigger in the second one, not just like the scope of the story, but perhaps you know, the actual creature itself. I wonder how big it could get, or if there is more going on. So I
have a lot of witnesses.
Well, but I don't know. It
seems pretty apocalyptic, if you ask me.
It could be, and I love films like that. Like that's one of the reasons why I love zombie flicks. It's like if it is, you know, spreading that quickly, and anyone who dies essentially comes back, there is no hope. You know, I like that hopelessness. So I don't know. I dig it. I'm all in for this hopeless battle against an unnamed villain. Hell yeah, let's go.
What's that movie from like 15 years ago?
Wizard of Oz?
American Graffiti.
No, but getting close.
Serpico.
It was like a Japanese movie, and then they did an American reinterpretation.
Godzilla.
Of
More American Graffiti?
Like
1998's Godzilla.
Internet ghosts. And like
Ring?
No.
Ringu.
Signal or dial-up signal or something like that. So like this Pulse, that's it. Yeah. So in Pulse 1, it's all about
Korean,
these,
like, I think.
Korean. I apologize. I did not
I might be wrong.
One of us is wrong, one of us is right. Either way, the first one is
Racist.
about internet ghosts, and then the second one is like set in a world where the internet ghosts have like taken over. And I'm not saying it's good; it's actually pretty bad, but it's weird and fun and ballsy. And I'd love to see them do something weird like that with this franchise. I hope it works better than Pulse 2 did. But
the 2000s, when they were doing horror, it felt like that was the point when the horror filmmakers were doing the shortcut things that are happening to comic movies now. It's just like, oh, it was big in Japan, we'll just put it together and make an American version. They didn't put. I feel like those two subgenres have switched, where comics just like someone likes this comic, so we'll just put $200 million into it and people will go see it. Whereas comics is a lot. I'm sorry.
Hasn't happened to me yet.
Well, get on it, man. Whereas horror, like you've got a really, really wide choice of some really good creative things happening.
And this has been an awesome year for horror.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I mean, maybe that's the thing. Like comedy was a thing for a while. Now it's none. I don't know.
There is no
I hope horror becomes the next trend because, yeah, I'm digging this a ton. But yeah, I just gotta say I'm fully on board with this. I'm digging it. It kind of feels like a whole bunch of the other type of movies, but I don't know, man. It's got a flavor of, I don't know if you remember the Denzel Washington one, like way back in the day, Fallen.
Training. Fallen.
Yeah. Fallen.
Yeah, where it's kind of the demon that just moves from touch to touch. So it's like, how do you take this thing out? You really kind of can't. It's hopeless.
Like
I love that feeling of dread. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the next generation of it. I think It Follows is a little closer to demonic STD.
Well,
but
they're all
like It Follows.
Contagious shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I dig that type of thing, and I think this one may have a chance to be even more hopeless, which I dig it, man. I think that's just where you got to go with this.
James Gandolfini was in Fallen.
Indeed.
Fallen has a crazy cast. Well, John Goodman's in that movie too, right? That movie's so goddamn good. An acting coach who used to in class sometimes give me the scene at the end where like the demon's like like the guy's like smoking the cigarette, so he's dying, and the demon's like, "Oh no, I've got nowhere to go." It's a fun
There's
scene.
a cat around.
There is a cat.
My wife did a very good review of that.
I'll have to watch that. I don't watch your stuff, but I watch all of her stuff.
I don't blame you.
Oh.
What do we have on our slate? Are we just argued about Warner Brothers for like 2 hours?
Well, on your slate, you're going to see your wife soon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, are we all through the topics of the week? Let me circle back. There was some.
I mean, do yourself a favor. Go see Smile 2. It's great. Second best musical of the year. And, support it. It had like a 59% drop last week. Come on,
no.
It's spooky season. Yeah. Go see it.
I caught up on Agatha all along this week. And it can, I think, I don't think the show starts strong, but I am digging it now, honestly. I don't know. It maybe I just really like Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza, but I'm digging it. Like,
yeah, I'm super into it, but I was into it from the beginning. I really dug kind of the mayor of East. Now I forget what they always call that thing, but they really went into it heavily and really made a good interpretation of that. And then the way that they've kind of done it throughout these episodes, where you get more contextualization for everything that's happening, and you kind of keep revisiting events from different characters' points of view. I don't think it could be done better. I really dig it, and it seems like an entry point for those who are not really into the cape stuff and maybe haven't followed the movies. So I don't know, man. I'm digging it.
It's also a good lesson because it costs like what, $30 million to make as opposed to $200 million. So maybe people should learn from this.
Yeah. So the list of things that Zaslav decided to cancel since 2022: Batgirl, Scoob, Holiday Haunt, Coyote versus Acme.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
And a bunch of animated stuff: Final Space, Tig in Seek, Elliot from Earth, Infinity Train, Summer Camp Island, The Fungies, Close Enough, The Not Too Late Show with Elmo, and 200
Cancel
episodes.
Elmo.
200 episodes of Sesame Street.
That's evil. I'm sorry. That's just evil. How do you kill Sesame Street?
Easily.
Well, I mean, obviously. Like,
As a parent, I think it's fine. I think that's a great move.
We got enough of it.
But, you have to also understand that they are doing new animations. There's more things now in production for Warner Brothers Animation. A lot of the things that they took off of the streaming services have been leased out or licensed to a broadcast animation channel. And some of these other places are getting a load of these things too. So they are not all necessarily unavailable. Others have been cut for the wonderful reason of not having to pay royalties to some people. So that's always a good thing, not having to pay somebody for something that they haven't worked on for ages. It's a dick move, but yes, it makes money. It makes sense financially.
No, I looked at a lot of the shows that they canceled, and it's unfortunate because a lot of them were like award winning, or like really did have like a big following. And I'm not gonna pretend like I've seen these shows. Like, I've never seen Infinity Train. I did kind of read like the description of it on Wikipedia. It sounds fascinating.
A lot of people who were upset with it leaving only read the Wikipedia and know somebody who was upset about it. There just wasn't a lot of people watching these things, and the server space is at a premium nowadays. So if it's not, if it's just sitting there, it's just costing money. It's costing them money to just hold it there and have nobody watch it.
Maybe spend less money on movies that are going to just fleece you at the box office, and take some of that money and put it towards the cloud. So
again, you don't want to keep stuff in the cloud that nobody's going to watch. What you want to do is take it off like they've done. And in some cases, it's not because of a tax write-off, so they can bring them back. And when they do bring those back, there should be a quick and fast from the Disney Vault surge of profitability from them.
So Red One, which is half Amazon's problem, tracking to open to $36 million in 2 weeks. That is the $250 million Red One, tracking
that's not good.
36.
That's not good.
Hear me out, though. It's the loss leader.
Did you say, or how much is it?
What? Everyone at once?
Sorry, we went off in two different directions. I believe Lindsay was actually saying something interesting. What was that, Lindsay?
Oh no, I was like, what was it tracking to open at 236? You said, or
no.
Oh
no, just
36. Just 30.
Oh, where'd that 2 come from? I apologize. Okay, so 36. Okay, good. Greg, your turn.
1/8
I would just say,
of its budget.
Perhaps it's a strategy. It's like a loss leader. They know they're going to lose money on the start of this franchise, the cinematic universe, if you will. But just waiting for the Krampus, it's going to come about on its own. There's going to be so many ways to branch this off.
Yeah, they're going to make money off the Stein and the popcorn buckets.
Oh God,
the snow globe popcorn bucket.
I'm wondering, because if Warner has international, Amazon, I'm dying to know what the split is on that budget. Because Amazon, I don't think they give a shit if it fails, because it's just something to throw on Prime. And
I don't think they care about theaters either. When's the last time they put anything in a theater?
Yeah, they avoided Roadhouse.
If they got Amazon involved with that, I think it's safe that Amazon is toting the biggest portion of the bill, and they're going to get the movie afterwards. It's not going to show up on Max. It's going to go straight to Prime. So that's my guess.
And internationally, like in Europe and elsewhere, it'll be on Max. Wait, do they even have Max out there? It might be Prime everywhere.
I don't know.
So, like Godzilla, Warner is hoping that non-Americans are just like, oh, silly action Santa movie. I don't need to know English to have fun with this. And
it's got a Krampus in there. That's vaguely European.
Well, the thing about movies like this is like the jokes are so like bland and like toothless. They're really easy to translate into other languages or cut out if it's like on a material that isn't allowed in China or something. So to say, like that's like the real soul crushing thing about movies like this that really bugged me. Like it obviously wasn't made for passion. It was just kind of like it was probably like a loose idea of like a jumble of scripts that got smashed together, and somehow they got these names attached to it. And
If I'm being completely honest, I thought
Okay.
it was a Netflix film.
it looks like one.
It does.
It does.
It
look
really
like one.
does.
Well,
There's-
the whole Red Notice, Red One thing doesn't helping it
It's
at all.
it's
too.
weird that like there's this. We have ridiculous money to throw around for our streaming exclusive thing. Like they all have that same
Hmm.
gloss, yet not real.
blandness to it.
Yeah.
Like, not to keep talking about Red Notice, but like there were scenes in Red Notice where I'm like, oh yeah, you are clearly not in a jungle and very clearly on a soundstage on a very small mound of sand right now. Like,
Yeah,
it
it all feels like it was made out of the same Hollywood sausage casing.
pretty
Mhm.
much.
What was the one with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans that I really enjoyed, but if I never watch it again, I'm fine with it.
Was it
Barbie?
the Gray?
No.
Oh, Gray
No.
Man. I think it's
Gray
Gray
Man.
Ah,
That's what it was. Yeah,
I
Gray Man.
enjoyed it. It's just I can't tell you much about it.
Well,
it didn't
Is
stick
that
with
one
me.
of the Russo movies?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. That's how I felt about the Thor movie, where he's like in like behind enemy lines trying to get a girl like out for extraction. Extraction. It was literally called Extraction.
Are you sure it
That
wasn't
was hilarious.
Extraction 2
too.
Well, apparently, I didn't see Extraction 2. I know they made it.
or the upcoming Extraction 3?
Oh God.
hmm.
Beginning.
The Extractioning?
Pre-extraction,
Extraction.
the insertion.
Might want to watch that one.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's some decent things there, but I think everyone's got a mutual part in just destroying the film going experience.
Yeah, I
like,
think
what does
somewhere
Netflix
somebody
improve?
is
Sorry.
somebody in Hollywood is in the back holding seminars on the formula to making successful movies. And everybody has taken this course and they're following this by the numbers bit and putting The Rock in there and making these stupid little movies that are worth billions of dollars.
I
And it's
think
terrible.
that sounds like 80s, 90s Sly Stallone, Schwarzenegger. Like, all right, here are these names. Like bona fide star power. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think they still have that antiquated mentality. Like, this is a great big person. Let's just throw them in movie, and money will soon follow. I don't think that's the way it is anymore.
No, I think Ryan Gosling's next movie is going to not make big numbers. It's not going to make Barbie numbers.
Dude, that was supposed to be Fall Guy.
Yes.
Yeah,
That ate
that
pavement.
oh, it was
wasn't
terrible.
enough.
It was terrible. It was by the numbers, had that sausage casing on it, and it was just ugh.
It was pretty.
Fall Guy?
Yeah,
I mean, the
the
stunts were fun.
cool. Yep, Jinx.
He was riding on a thing while the road was. Fair enough.
I don't know. I adored that scene where they're like using like prop weapons to fight off like real people with like real guns and stuff like that. I thought that was a lot of
A couple
fun.
of cute moments where somebody got creative, but then they put a stop to that real quick.
It's unfortunate that like that is what comedy is right now. Like, if you want comedy, you have to go to like big budget action to get something to chuckle at.
Like Bad Boys 2
That
or
did
Bad
well.
Boys, whatever. Yeah.
That did
I mean,
well.
did way better than I anticipated.
It did better than Venom.
I mean,
Sony.
for many
But did
reasons.
it cost as much?
Probably not. This week
Good point.
is just here. I read something that says that no studio wants to compete with election weekend.
Yep.
Kind of makes sense. But there's a couple of them coming out.
Election day is Tuesday. Why are you avoiding it Friday through Sunday like it's
Well, all hell
Toy
may
Story
break
6?
loose.
What?
All
I'm
hell
sorry?
may break loose. You never know.
Yeah, on
It's the
Tuesday.
start of
You still have
riot season.
one more time.
It's the start of riot season. You know,
But
it's
you
it'll go all the
have
way
one
through
more weekend
January
left
6th.
before that happens. You have Friday through Monday technically before you can worry about might want to lock all the doors now.
I'm
Is that this
excited
Tuesday?
for the releases the next 2 weeks. I don't know.
2
You got
weeks
Juror
out.
number 2 and A Real Pain this week coming up on the 1st. That both of those look good to me.
Juror number 2 might be limited this week, right?
I think it is
That is
extremely
pretty
limited.
yeah.
There's a bunch of tiny shit happening this week, and then there's Here, which is the Forrest Gump fan film project thing, which has Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, but they're in like this de-aging thing, and I think it's everything that takes place over the course of 50 years in one room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
Warner for 70 years.
Yeah. Yeah, a Warner.
That's an interesting idea. I'm down. I don't know if it'll.
There's a couple of small ones though. Jesse Eisenberg has his second film coming out. I think it's what is it, A Real Pain or whatever, where it's like him and Kieran Culkin. I don't think it's going to be like a huge major box office one, but it looks kind of fun.
Can you elevator pitch me that? What is it again?
I have no idea other than they appear to be going on a trip. They're best friends. They hate each other. It looks fun.
Oh, what is I see? That's not like they're not Real Pain. I don't know what I'm thinking of. They're not like selling drugs or anything, are they?
I don't believe so. I think it's just 2 people going kind of like a European vacation together. I don't know.
Don't know what I'm thinking of.
Neither do I. But I'm not selling this thing. I bought in when I heard the pitch before. Can't sell it to you though.
You can't forget about Hit Pig.
Right.
That's true. So excited for that. Finally.
That's been sitting on the shelf since 2020. And
election weekend sounds just right.
Well, yeah. What was Hit Pig? You guys were talking about that earlier, right?
Lily Singh. At the tip of everybody's tongue as far as relevant people.
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Sudoku.
What's Hit Pig is a clever pig who makes a living catching escaped animals and returning them to their owners. His next job is his biggest yet, returning a dancing elephant named Pickles, who is Lily Singh, to a maniacal Vegas showman, Rainn Wilson, for $1 million. When the mission goes sideways, Hit Pig must realize that no amount of money is worth losing his newfound friends.
And that's animated.
Interesting.
And it's been sitting on a shelf since pre-COVID.
So that's gonna suck. Hey, Andy Serkis is in it.
It's got a lot of names.
It does.
I don't know. Friendship wins out. It sounds great. How could you not go?
Lily Singh is the
who may be playing an elephant. It's hard to say.
Oh, she's a YouTuber. That's why I know that name.
Yeah.
She's also a former talk show host.
It's as relevant
to the big leagues.
It's as relevant as casting like Amy Schumer in something right now. Just like, why would you?
Yeah, again,
Flash.
Hollywood is coming close to the realization that streamers and YouTubers are not necessarily big money when it comes to
not in their
artists.
Not in their medium, that's for certain.
No, they're not bringing new people to the theaters, and that's the problem that people are having right now. Is how do I find the next generation of audiences and get them hooked for the next 20 to 30 years?
They don't know.
They don't know. There's no telling right now. It's all up in the air because cinema is no longer what it used to be anymore.
More like enema, am I right?
Oh, where is it? I got a soundboard somewhere. I got it's going to be loud. I can't help it.
Woke Gray up. I just see his eyebrows just shoot up. I'm awake.
He can do that here.
It's gonna be loud, but
he can do that here. I didn't know he could do it everywhere. Like a Dr. Seuss thing.
Yeah. So, it looks like everyone's somewhere else, so I'll start wrapping it up.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was trying to see if I could quickly find the same thing that I found for Trap. That I found for the Watchers that I found for Trap. I can't find anything definitive on like if he sold it to Warner's or what.
I mean, the fact that it happened with one, considering that he financed one of them, you can kind of assume that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not claiming to, again, we're not financial advisors, nor are we the stone cold truth.
Lindsay is Gaelic for fiduciary, but that does not mean I am a fiduciary. So like, I just okay.
Is that a derogatory term? Gaelic?
Don't worry about it.
No, it's a language. It's somewhat forgotten, but it's still appreciated.
You leave your nightlife out of this. It appears as if my work for the near future up until Thursday, which is a big day, might be done. I made really good time. Barring some sort of disaster with copyright or something, I might have to cut things. I don't think I have to film anything anymore. But as I said earlier, the next 2 weeks, maybe a week or so, I'll be packing and things and getting ready to go back over with Emily. So I might be a little less reliable for the foreseeable. So be sure and be kind to Rosales, because at least for the near future, Rosales might be here for a couple of episodes and I may not. So get used to the Sausage Factory having another sausage
substitute.
Rosales, why don't you tell all of our viewers about yourself and your channel and what you got going on over there and your comics? Do you have never mind.
Well, I was gonna say no and then throw a laugh track up, but since I do have to talk about it, every Sunday morning at about 9 a.m. Central Time, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, we do the Super Sunday Wrap Up, which is a wrap up of the week's news that happens in the week, and then if we happen to have some numbers box office wise, we'll get to them. If we don't have them, then we won't. We'll save that for this show. And, that's what we got going on. And on Friday nights, we happen to be doing something called After Dark. It's where we get a little bit saucy and salacious. So, grab your favorite alcoholic beverage, join us, and watch us break laws in some third world countries, I think. I don't know. That's a lie. I don't know what's going on.
Rosales, do you have any of your promos, your QR code things?
I do not have them on me. No, I did not upload them as part of my.
Well, for next time, make sure you have those ready.
I will put them there, and so I'll just do this.
Yeah,
and it'll be there.
So rosalescomics.com. Buy some merch.
Woo. Yes, absolutely. T-shirts available, comic books on demand in digital format and print ready to print on demand and place in your grubby little hands. See if you can find the spelling mistakes in these comic books. Apparently, it's kind of if you red letter them and circle them, you might get nothing from me. So it'll be a fun little game for yourselves. Yes. We are doing something interesting in 2020. What is it next year? 27.
5.
Okay. In 2025, we'll be doing a Super Sunday Wrap Up live at a film festival. It won't be on Sunday. It'll be on a Saturday, and it'll be a panel full of selected, randomly selected filmmakers sitting on the panel, and we'll be doing it for a live audience for the very first time. Including trivia and games and possibly some interviews from the actors in their films. Who knows what's going to happen? But we're going to be taking the show on the road, so it'll be all kinds of fun.
Woo. And I've got always something new and exciting going on my channel these days. Tune in every day. You never know what you're going to get. There's going to be something good, though.
Woo!
Woo!
Until next time, everyone.
Oh, well, Gray, you're not going to plug?
Yeah, I forgot, Gray.
Oh, hold on. I wait for this every week, guys. Like I can't.
Fair enough.
Yeah, hold on.
Fair enough. If you can't get enough of a good portion of the people on here, everyone on here has been on Thinkers in the past. Perhaps they might want to come think with us again in the future, but you'll at least get a couple of Thinkers. Hey, don't you always want to know one of Charles's most spooky stories? Well, now you'll get it this Thursday on That Darn Kidda's channel for the Thinkers. What is the Thinkers? It's a group of people from like 3 different continents who disagree about everything, but somehow can do that amicably. And this time, we're actually having a special spooky think for the day itself, since it's actually happening on Halloween. So, hey, if you want to hear some people think about ghost stories and disagree with each other, probably call each other out for, telling lies. Come join us this Thursday on The Thinkers on That Darn Kidda's channel on YouTube. YouTube at That Darn Kidda. Yeah, good times.
I mean, that's the place to go for world-class Gardic phone, because
True.
we had something of a fist fuck last night. And
Well, if I wasn't making tamales, I would have been there.
Yeah, I'm a jerk. Family came into town, and
it's
I would have rather garlicked, but instead I had to carve a pumpkin.
oh.
Yes, I would have loved to have cheated and used my tablet.
Oh, there was lots of cheaters last night. There was people who just mailing it in, not even answering. But nothing compared. Like, there's, speaking of lore, needing to know different episodes of things. I don't know, like snails, and I guess I'm part of the lore over there. It's really fun.
Yeah.
If you want to see how that
Charles
show,
with his eggs.
you want to see how that game is supposed to be played, watch on Thinkers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! No,
Lindsay, you got the keys.
I do. Oh, okay. Rosales, give us the last word.
The last word is justification.